Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Maurice, sports historian, back with another basketball video, an NBA video this time. NBA video. As you guys may or may not know, NBA tip-off is October 22nd, and I'm recording this on October 9th. And that means we don't have a lot of time before the NBA season actually starts. So, similar to last year, I'm going to make a video about some of the teams that I'm going to be watching, looking out for, paying particular attention to. In this video, though, I'm going to go a little bit more in-depth than I did in the last one. The last one being a similar video that I did last year around this time. But this time, I'm going to be going a little bit more in-depth, talking about some of the teams that I am going to be watching, and for whatever reason, I'm going to watch them. So, before we get into this video, if you guys like sports content or enjoy content similar in nature to this, please make sure you subscribe, leave a like, as well as comment on the video some of the teams that you're going to be watching in this upcoming season. Without further ado, let's get into it. Before I go over the teams that are on this watch list, this isn't me necessarily saying that I'm only going to pay attention to these teams. I'm going to have eyes all over the league. That's just how I watch. What I like to do with these videos is kind of pinpoint some of the teams that I'm going to focus more in on, some of the teams that I'm going to pay more attention to. If I'm not mistaken, one of the teams that I had on my watch list last time I did one of these videos was the Boston Celtics, for obvious reasons. And as we look at how that season turned out for them, I think I was justified to have them on this watch list. Starting off this list is one of the teams that I would place into a contender category. Just in general, not even necessarily with this list, although I do have another contending team on here. It's the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, one of the reasons I'm going to be watching the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis is one of my favorite players in the league. He's played at an MVP level during the regular season for however many consecutive years. If you ask me, he was my MVP before he got hurt. Obviously, him getting hurt and the Bucks going on a slide towards the end of the season didn't necessarily help his cases, but I still think he played phenomenal and was probably underappreciated for the season that he had for the Bucks last season. Speaking of also things that went on last season, the Bucks did not finish the season strong last year, and I want to see how they bounce back from that. Obviously, we still have a lot of moving pieces with this team. We got some of the young guys that got to develop. We got to see how Damian Lillard responds to the down year he had last year. A down year coming off of a career year, which you don't see that too often. But it's a lot of moving parts with this team. It's a lot of things that we have to see this team whip into shape. And I'm going to be a person that is going to be watching them throughout the majority of the regular season. But overall with this Bucks team, there are a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I want to see them solve whatever positional issues, whatever coaching issues, whatever just chemistry issues that they may or may not have. I want to see them answer them during the regular season before I get a chance to watch them in the playoffs. So when you put all those things together, I think that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be an interesting team to watch during the regular season. Not even necessarily just from an entertainment perspective, but again, one of the trends that we see with good teams and just with teams in general during the NBA season is the team that they are from the tip-off is not the same team that they are when the playoffs are ready to start. So I want to see this team actually grow. I want to see this team's chemistry look good together, and I want to see this team progress throughout the regular season. Next up on my NBA watch list is another contending team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that everybody can look at this Thunder roster and just say that this should be an elite team come October 22nd. When you also factor in the offseason acquisition of one Alex Caruso, as well as the development from players like J-Dub and Chet Holmgren, this team, again, should be a very, very dominant team, especially in the Western Conference that a lot of people like to say is very, very deep. Alongside all of that, they have a MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I've come around to appreciate more as a player. Originally, I wouldn't call myself a hater of SGA, but I just wasn't that enamored with his game. I've come around to like watching Shai, and so I'm gonna be watching the Thunder next season, and Shai is a big reason for that. In a similar story to the Bucks, I want to see how this team develops during the regular season. This is a team that a lot of people are saying can be NBA Finals contenders, or just people are picking them to win the NBA Finals altogether. So I want to see the formation of this team. And one of the things that I also want to see from them is them be very, very good right away. They started off last season good. They finished good. I think they were were they 1 or 2 in the West? I don't remember. Actually, at one point during the last few games of the season, there was a 3-way tie for the first seed in the West. So they ended up somewhere within that 1, 2, or 3. But regardless, they should again be at the top of the Western Conference, and I want to see it happen. I want to view some of these OKC games, especially because I feel like my focus hasn't been on the team like OKC for the past few seasons. Last season they were a good team. I didn't particularly look out for them. But the season before that, they were barely a play-in team, and I know I wasn't watching too many OKC Thunder games. So this would be a good time for me to refresh my memory on some of the players on OKC that maybe I haven't been too keyed in on for the past few seasons. Next up is a team that I feel like I won't find on too many people's contender lists, but I think they'll be a playoff team nonetheless, is the Sacramento Kings. I'm going to be honest. The main reason why the Kings are on my NBA watch list is because for the past 2 seasons, they have been fantastic when it comes to regular season basketball. I don't think there's been a more consistently entertaining team than the Kings in the regular season over the past 2 seasons. Whether you get the season where the identity of the team was the beam, it was like the beam crazy. It's still like the beam crazy, just not as crazy as it was that first season. But even last season, they had a hell of a regular game series with the Warriors. Just a bunch of very, very good regular season games. I predict that trend will continue this season. And when you factor in, they just got DeMar DeRozan, who's like number 1 or 2 in like clutch buckets over the past few seasons. On top of them already having De'Aaron Fox, who's a demon in the clutch himself. It's probably going to be a lot of games going down to the wire. Probably going to be a lot of game-winning shots being taken. Some of them being made, some of them being missed. I don't know. But the Kings are a consistently good regular season watch, and so I'm putting them on my NBA watch list. Keeping right along with the trend of teams that aren't particularly contenders, but are probably going to be good enough to make the playoffs, Sixers. I shouldn't have to mention that one of the big reasons why I'm watching this team is because they have an MVP candidate in Joel Embiid. He was like by far running away with the MVP award, and it sucks that he got hurt like as he was peaking last season, because I would have wanted to see him finish out the season healthy and just, have a fully healthy season under his belt. I don't know if we're going to get that from Joel Embiid, but regardless, I'm going to put the Sixers on my NBA watch list, because when you add a player like Paul George's caliber, as well as some other changes to the team, there's bound to be some sort of shakeup that happens during the regular season, and I want to be around to witness. Obviously, they have Embiid coming back fully healthy. They have sort of the emergence of Tyrese Maxey now to deal with. They kind of had his coming out party last season, and now they're fully adjusting to him being what he is, especially looking at what he was in the playoffs. Add Paul George to the mix, it should be fun regular season hoops. I don't know how good they'll be, especially in the Eastern Conference that's looking rejuvenated as far as the top dogs go. I don't know how good they'll be, but hopefully it's good enough, and hopefully I'm entertained by some of the regular season games that I watch from the Sixers. The final team in this not contender but also playoff team tier is the Memphis Grizzlies. I feel like we've gone way too long without seeing Ja Morant hoops, and that's something that I can probably say I took for granted, not because like Ja Morant was like my favorite young player or just my favorite player in the league in general, but just because of how consistently exciting the Grizzlies were with Ja Morant. I feel like one of the faces of the league has just been non-existent for the past 12, 14, 16 months or so like that. Part of that is his fault, but part of that is like bad luck, because he tore his labrum after he was supposed to come back from suspension. That fucking sucks. Nobody wants to see that. So I'm rooting for the Grizzlies this year. I'm rooting for a comeback season from Ja Morant. Just put all the bullshit behind you. The injuries sucked, but you here now, you healthy, go ahead, ball out and do what you do. I'm looking forward to seeing this Grizzlies team somewhat to full strength, even though, Gigi Jackson had got hurt. And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think somebody else just got hurt during a preseason game. Actually, Ja Morant, I think he rolled his ankle. So I don't even know if he's going to be ready for the regular season. Hopefully he is. And hopefully this team is good enough during the regular season to where I can watch some of their games and just not be like, yo, this sucks. You know what I'm saying? I miss Ja Morant. I miss watching the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies were one of my more watched teams when Ja was healthy. I definitely wasn't watching too many Grizzlies games last season, even though they had some bits and pieces here and there where it was like, you know, this could be interesting when this team actually comes back to full strength. Hopefully, sometime during this season, they get back to full strength and they find a good rotation that suits them, because this is still a great young team that I would like to watch, and I'm still rooting for them to, you know, make some noise in this loaded Western Conference. Finally, I have two bottom tier teams that are actually on my NBA watch list, one of which being the Spurs. It's the Wemby experiment season 2. This time they got one of the greatest pure point guards of all time to pass to him. Should be a season worth of highlight worthy shit that happens with the Spurs organization, just regardless. And on top of that, Chris Paul's a Spur, which isn't something that I ever thought I'd be saying, but like, he is. And if these are the final seasons, if this is the final season of Chris Paul's career, I'm glad that he can bestow as much knowledge onto the next generation as he can. Someone with his pedigree, someone with the amount of just knowledge that he soaked up over the course of the years, that he's been in the NBA. It's great to see, you know, that torch being passed to the next generation. So hopefully he can implant Wemby with everything that he's learned over the course of his career. The Wemby experiment, it's not over. It's just changing slightly. And one of these years, definitely not going to be this year, but one of these years, they're going to crack something with this Wemby experiment, and the team's going to be good, and a lot of people are going to be shocked. But I'm not going to be, because I kept watching the Wemby experiment. I saw how he developed. I saw how the team around him shaped up. I saw how the team around him formed. So, yeah, the Spurs are definitely a part of my NBA watch list. And to be honest, if they're not a part of yours, you're doing something wrong. Then the second team, a part of this bottom tier portion of the NBA watch list, is the Hornets. Now, the biggest thing that I want to see from the Hornets is this the year that they can finally escape no man's land? LaMelo, he was looking good last year before he got hurt, and then he got hurt again. Brandon Miller looked great last year. They have young pieces on this team that they can fit and maybe make a playoff push. In this Eastern Conference, it's possible that they can, you know, snatch a play-in spot and play their way into the playoffs. Hopefully that's something that we can see from this Hornets team, because it's not looking good, the LaMelo era for this team. It's just not looking good. They haven't made the playoffs at all, which I don't think is an unrealistic expectation for the Hornets to make up the playoffs this year. But I mean, just going based off some of the things that we've seen for these past few seasons, it's not looking good for the Hornets. I hope that this is the year that they can finally tighten some screws, finally find a direction that they're going, maybe sneak their way into the playoffs. I don't foresee that happening, but I at least want this team to have a play-in spot. No more of that bullshit that they at the absolute bottom of the Eastern Conference. I don't want to see that. You're not the Pistons, okay? You have LaMelo. He got some years under his belt. Hopefully he'll finally be healthy. Drafted pretty well last year with Brandon Miller. He looked great at some times during the regular season last year. So hopefully, Charlotte Hornets can actually do something during the regular season. I would hate for me to put them on my watch list and then they just absolutely do the same thing that they've been doing for the past few seasons. That would suck. So please don't do that, Hornets. And in the final portion of this video, I'm going to be listing 3 teams that I have on my do not watch list. Like I said with my disclaimer at the beginning of this watch list video, I do have teams on my do not watch list. Does that mean I'm not going to watch a single second of regular season basketball from these teams? No. But what it does mean is that I'm not going to go out of my way to watch these teams if there are other games on. The first team I have on this list is the Boston Celtics. Listen, I've watched way too much regular season Celtics basketball over the past 3 seasons. I'm over it. They won a championship. That's cool. I'm going to take a Celtics break until damn near the playoffs. I don't know. But I still expect them to be an elite regular season team, but they could be an elite regular season team without me watching. This team, I'm Celtics out. Just for the regular season, I'm Celtics out. We'll catch you in the playoffs. The second team that I have on this list, for similar reasons, is the Denver Nuggets. Again, I've watched too much Denver Nuggets regular season basketball over the past 2 seasons. I'm tired of watching the Denver Nuggets play during the regular season. I'm going to catch a game here and there. You know what I'm saying? If Jokic is going crazy, I might catch a game where he does like a 40-point, like 20 rebound, 8 assist night or some shit like that. I'm going to catch those, sure, periodically. But I'm not tuning into a bunch of Nuggets regular season basketball. I just got to be honest. I watched too much of it. I've watched too much of it. The final team that I have on my do not watch list is the Chicago Bulls. Look, bro, I can't watch the Bulls, man. I'm at my end. I'm at my limit with this team. Hopefully we're bad enough to where we can sneak in the lottery and like not fight for a playoff position and be in a play-in. Hopefully we can trade Zach LaVine this season. It's a lot of hopefullys with this team. And to be honest, I don't have any real pride as a Bulls fan nowadays. So I just don't want to watch this team. They don't make me happy when I watch them. They make me very sad, and I don't want to be sad when I'm watching basketball. So if it's all the same between me and you, I'm probably going to skip out on a bunch of Bulls games this season, which I think I did so again last season, but like I need a break from this team. It's not you, it's me. Nah, I lied. It's definitely you. I just don't want to watch the Bulls this season. I'm sorry. Well, that has been my 2024-25 NBA watch list, as well as my do not watch list at the end that I included there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Expect some more NBA content soon, because you got to get some NBA videos out before the regular season starts. And then when the regular season starts, hopefully you guys can like expect a film breakdown or something like that from me. I want to try to do more of those this season, but again, no promises. Y'all know how I am with promising content and shit. It's hard to make content, so yeah, again, no promises, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.